Before we get started here, I need to put out an APB to YouTube support. Where are you? Messages have been sent regarding this weird issue with playback from any computer and no response. They were last seen wearing a headset mic, not answering emails, and playing games online. If you recognize them, please do not approach. Just let me know, and I'll continue floundering around in cyberspace. Thank you. Today's episode is a Norm Nathan show from September 1st and possibly the 10th of 1994. I have titled it Radio Hopscotch because there's a lot of skipping from call to call. It appears to be the last hour of the September 1st broadcast, and then we jump ahead to some other September nights and conclude with what is labeled September 10th. Brian McKinley was producing. Now, I found this whole cassette to be endlessly entertaining. There's a lot here for me to whet your appetite with. It all begins with a call from Fred in Medford about WHDH. Skip to Norm talking about a pianist who seemed to know how to play every song. 36 musicians in some orchestra with, I believe, Dave McKenna. Norm sat 2 tables away from Frank Sinatra. We skip to talking to Robert from Everett. We are in for a treat, as this is the first of 2 calls from Robert in this episode. Norm was going to be participating in a charity comedy show at the Comedy Connection. Skip to a different caller from Maryland, possibly named Irv, talking about WBZ history, and he has a question for Norm. Who were the talent known as the Live Five? You'll have to stay tuned for those answers. Norm had recently spoken to Jess Kane. He cites Jess as an inspiration because of all the wild stuff he would do on WHDH, and Norm felt he had to keep up and be wild too. We hear from Charlie in Abington with some broadcasting advice for Norm. Then Larry, who started listening about a year ago when he began a 3rd shift job as a security guard, and he loves the show. Norm teases the guests for the next night, kind of, and the kids in the teen canteen whoop it up one more time, and he sends it to the morning news. Now on to a Jack traffic report and a spot for Store 24. Lavelle Diet makes an appearance. Norm talks to Lavelle about Sophia Loren and the temptations that are flaunted at big-time radio folks. Norm enlightens us on his most recent one. Moving on, here's Norm introducing Rob Floyd in traffic, but no report because, you know what, we skipped to another caller, Kathy. Fred from New Jersey, he's here talking about a lady who sends him apple pies, the worst he's ever tasted. He also tells a story about being at a barbecue and overhearing a conversation. The woman, when she was younger, couldn't go to sleep at night until she checked under the bed. This sparked a conversation where many people there had done the same thing. That prompts Norm to mention a play called Small Wonder, a very interesting plot that I'm certain you'll see the point to. Norm worries more about walking down a dark city street than living in the woods. Norm has never seen a UFO. I have, but that's a story for another time. Let's jump to Norm talking with Jim Morley, or Morley-ya, a toll taker on the Tobin Bridge for 20 plus years. We get some insight into the big-time broadcasting dollars he was paid when he began his radio career. The next caller, Tom, says a bad word and apologizes. But Norm says, you know what? At 20 minutes to 2 in the morning, it's okay. And the producer, Brian, just missed trying to bleep it. Tom also said how sorry he was to hear about Norm's wife, Norma, passing. She had been gone for nearly 3 years at the time. Norm tells a great story about Father Dick Schmerich, who gave the eulogy at Norma's services. Our next caller, Mike, believes he met Linda Chase and tells the Howard Stern fans to be nice. We then enjoy a short musical interlude. Norm teases a guest for the next show, and he signs off from another September day. Here's the next night now with Norm talking to traffic reporter Rob Floyd, who needs to call Norm's brother-in-law to fix some stuff. Norm takes the blame for Adam and Eve being banished from the Garden of Eden. Suddenly, there's a Jack traffic spot for Exxon. And then Jack reports on every work crew in and around Boston. All I'll say next is Jack, Gawkers, and Cockpit. Back to talking about the Comedy Connection show, Norm says he's the throwaway act, even though he's prepared to do an entire comedy special if need be. Now, this show was to benefit Lifehouse Incorporated, which helped people find shelter who do not have it in the Dorchester area. He was speaking in the studio to, I believe it's Josh Binswanger from WBZ Radio and at the time, WBZ TV. Josh tells a naughty Prince Charles joke. Other people appearing at that show that they were sharpening the hook for, Bruce Schwegler, Shelby Scott, Sarah Edwards, Michelle Michaels, Marjorie Clapprood, Frank Malakote, Laura Raposa and Gail Fee, and Joe Stapleton. Jack Hart was going to be in the audience, but not performing. Fred Allen and Major Bowes are discussed. Jack broke his headphones. They may have been purchased at the Shoddy Equipment Store located on the 15th floor at WBZ. Now that's directly across from the Museum of Broadcast Artists and next to the WBZ Farm Stand Store. And I'm telling you, the hottest item they sell there were the minute-and-a-half egg timers. And then Norm talks a little shop with Jack. And now, Side B. Whew. Here's Norm with the story about the Green Day concert at the Hat Shell and the crowd acting like a bunch of momos. Jack Hart joins the conversation and brings Norm to his senses about the whole thing. Now on to a caller talking about a news director named Henry Santoro who had a quote regarding that very concert. The caller also believes if you're in a band in Boston, it's a hard town to make a living in. Now let's skip on down to another swell call from Fred in New Jersey. He says the show is like Uncle Norm's General Store. Helps a lot of people make it through the night. And somehow, we segue to leather fetishes, a stolen mannequin, and a ransom note. Fred brings up the movie Mannequin and its sequel. What was it called? Oh yeah, Manitwin? All I'll say here is inflatable companions and balloon dolls. We learn that Norm thinks better when he sings. Others, not so much. Speaking of singing, Jack joins the conversation with intricate details on the Mills Brothers song Paper Doll. The infinite knowledge and rigorous testing that it takes to become a traffic reporter is astounding. Norm comes to a conclusion regarding Fred's life. Okay, here comes call number 2 with Robert from Everett, and it is superb. He wants to bring his wife Dottie down to meet Norm at the Comedy Connection. He's going to be dressed like the Scotsman he is and gives Norm an idea for a closing bit. In the ads for the show, Norm was first listed as "and others." Then he was listed as one of the opening acts, meaning they think even less of him. The old gang from Everett might just put up a fuss about that. The next caller was Russ, who's a truck driver. Then an unnamed caller tells quite the joke. Glenn from Brighton joins us, talking about Mary from Kittery's transformation. He mentions Jack's alter egos, and that alerts the WBZ hitmen, and they may have to be deployed. Glenn was happy to hear me again on a recent dumb birthday game. Norm was happy too, with some exceptions. Out of nowhere, we get an extremely brief intro to Jack from Josh Binswanger. Oh, I should let you know about our sponsors. We hear from Bessie Dupree from St. Petersburg, Florida, raving about her Ovaltine, complete with Norm commentary. And then a WBZ farm stand promo with Dave Maynard. His quote there is, "We had a bread sale last year that people are still talking about." We wrap up this marathon with a call from Judy, wife of Ben Farnsworth, whom Norm co-hosted the morning news with on WEEI. Ben gets on the phone and away we go. The stories, the memories, the laughter, you're all going to love this one. Episode 102, Radio Hopscotch, begins in eeny, meeny, miny, mow. Let's start the tape right now.
80s, no, because I was gone from HDH by 74, and then I came back again about 80, and that was the first time around. So it would have been in the 70s. It would have been the late 60s even. Late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, I'd say about 69, 70, that period.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the thing. But what they did was, I guess, last Sunday night, when EI became HDH,
Right.
They first played taps, which is appropriate. And I guess some producer, I don't think it was an organized thing by the management there, but from what I gather, some producer, apparently disgruntled, as we say, decided to throw a toilet on, like flushing HDH down the toilet and then wiping the station out. And again, that bothered me because I look back upon those days with great affection. So that's what happened. But they did play that very definitely.
Here, you having the game at 3 o'clock?
Yes, we are having the AM at 3 o'clock.
I tried to get on it last week, and I guess they couldn't get to me.
Well, I tell you what, we have Brian McKinley, which is kind of a big name for a young kid, isn't it? I'm Brian McKinley. Sounds like that should belong to only a guy about 40 or 50. But Brian is the producer, and I can turn you over to Brian, and he can fill you in with all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Would you take this call, Brian?
Thanks, man.
Okay. Thank you. He's just winding up right now until 1 o'clock. There's a guy sits at the piano, and he plays everything. It can't be a song written since the days of the Gregorian chants that he doesn't know. And one of the guys who was in the Sinatra orchestra, and the orchestra, by the way, was tremendous, a great orchestra. There were 36 musicians in it, including a string section and all that. One of the guys who plays trumpet and flugelhorn sat in for a few songs with McKenna at the Colonnade, and I hope the management at the Colonnade at Zachariah, is that it? Yeah. Keeps him on every weekend or whenever on a regular basis, because there's the McKenna somebody worth watching. Anyway, in a private party in the dining room next to Zachariah's, the promenade room, I guess it was, pulling a lot of strings and knowing some people who were with us who were influential, we got to sit there and we sat about 2 tables away from Sinatra, who was at the Colonnade this past night. And it was kind of funny. I guess when you get close to a legend, he doesn't look like a legend anymore. But he did look good, and that was a great kick. There was also a pianist there named Debbie Mann, who was awfully good as well. Anyway, last night was a great music night. The only bad music was by Sinatra himself. But it was an event just to see him, and I was very, very glad to have been there. A week from Monday night?
Yeah. This is a good opening for you now.
Okay.
Now you come back from the back of the audience, and you start singing.
Do our shtick, we do our bit, our routine, our act.
Your jokes, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, whatever our act is, if it's jokes, yeah. Our shtick could also be, I suppose, a song thing, too.
How about monologue?
What about monologue? That's what the whole point of it is. Isn't that what we'll be doing? We'll be doing monologues.
Now. Don't get nervous.
Of course I'll be nervous. Of course I'll be scared to
well.
death.
They're coming to see you like they see Frank Sinatra.
No, they're probably coming to see Shelby Scott.
Who's Shelby Scott? Oh, I know that young lady.
From Channel 4, yeah. The one who covers snowstorms and stuff.
Yeah. You're kidding me. She's going to be there?
She's listed as one of those who's going to be there, yeah.
Is she going to do a shtick, as you call it?
I guess she's going to do shtick.
Is
it just
says
she's
a comedy show, or is anybody going to play violin, accordion?
No, this is not vaudeville. It's comedy. It's the Comedy Connection.
You mean you don't have no jugglers or tap dance?
They never even mention us.
Yeah,
one of those
forget
stations.
about those guys.
Yeah,
But
forget about them. They're in the past.
I've got a very good WBZ question for you.
Okay.
That goes back to the 50s. It's a real trivia question. And since you are one of the great experts in that area, I'm going to pose it to you at this time.
Okay.
Who were the live 5 of the 1950s?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They recorded
Isn't that a
stuff.
great question?
That's an excellent question. Let's see if I know Dave Maynard was one of the live 5. Wrong?
But a very good try.
But that was wrong?
He came late. He was a late comer.
Oh, he was not the live 5.
Oh, yeah. He was a kid back then.
Okay, now tell me the year again you're talking about.
Oh, let's say 1956.
56, okay.
Yeah.
And he was not...
We'll start with the morning man.
Because he could have been, I guess maybe he was at the Medford station at the time. Because he was old enough to be here, because he's been...
But he started right about the Kennedy assassination, I remember, because he was the host on that awful day. And that's the first time I remember hearing Dave Maynard. But preceding him as the morning man.
Okay, Carl DeSouza.
What we hope you know is the Carl DeSouza show on WBZ radio. Right.
That's right. Let's see. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so...
At 10 o'clock was Alan Derry.
Oh, yeah, because I worked with him over at HDH later on.
But you don't want to say that name.
That's right. I've said, well, of course, there is no HDH radio anyway, so it's okay.
At 2 o'clock, Norm Prescott.
Oh, Norm Prescott, yeah.
He used to begin by saying, "Hello, you."
What a clever opening that was.
Well, I took it personally. I was 17, and I thought, gee, that was so sweet of him to think of company.
But he's talking right at you. Yeah, he's doing animated cartoons out in Hollywood now.
Oh.
Animation I forget the name of the company, but a lot of the animated cartoons are his company. And let's see, that was 2:00.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other two were.
Oh, I'm very disappointed.
I know it. I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach not having known that.
Because I know you talk about giving talks about old radio and
yeah. And
I'm going to help you out because you're such a nice fellow.
I appreciate that.
Leo Egan used to be on later on.
Because I worked with him at that other place.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm bringing back so many pleasant memories for you, aren't I?
But he did news, did he not?
No, but he also had a
record show too?
A record program from about 7 till 10 after the news. And then they would finish up with the John Bassett Show with music for lovers and the young at heart.
Is that right?
That was from like 10 to a very mellow music and very, very nice.
You see, it's funny because at that time I was absorbed in this other station whose callers we won't even mention, even though they don't exist as a radio station anymore. So I guess I didn't pay that much attention to BZ at that time. But I know all those guys, and I remember they were here, and that's interesting. So that's still alive.
He's still around because he moved over, and he was Jess Kane's man. I remember in the morning.
That's right. No, he's still around. Yes, he's still around. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Is Jess Kane still around?
Jess is still around. Yeah, I talk with him from time to time. I talked with him about a week or two ago. He's still around. And
is he
Carl
still doing the morning show?
No, he's not. He's retired from broadcasting. And last thing he did was a musical up at the North Shore Music Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Called Showboat. He was Captain Andy, which got some nice reviews. Carl DeSouza is still around, but not in radio either. They're both retired. Just this old poop keeps pooping along.
And doing a damn good job of it.
Well, I don't know. I thank you for saying that. But a lot of the people you mentioned are bring back very pleasant memories to me, too. There are a lot of good people in the business who I enjoyed working with. Jess was. He was a great inspiration because I would either precede him on doing an all-night show when he came on in the morning, or I followed him. And I would listen and think, boy, he's doing some wild stuff. I got to do some wild stuff, too, and keep up with that. Okay, it was really inspiration. I've told him that a lot of times. And Carl, of course, has been around since all of us were born, except I probably go back as far as Carl does. That is on radio. So anyway, those are good names.
Well, you were all very funny guys, and I think you brought a unique kind of tempo to the broadcasting business in Boston.
You're a good fellow. Now, where do you practice in Maryland?
Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay, right outside of Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, you're okay. Do you ever come back to Boston?
Very infrequently, unfortunately. And I just happened to tune in a few nights ago. I was coming home, and because you pick up BZ, of course, only at night.
Right.
Down here, and there was your voice, and I thought about calling. Actually, it was more than a few. The truth be known, it was about a month or two ago. But
that's okay. And you said, "Is that guy still alive?" I can't believe it. And, he must be 150.
The voice is the same, and so it was like listening to an old friend again. So.
Oh, that's very nice, sir. I'm very grateful for you to say that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And
I hope to hear from you again, and it's lovely to hear from you this time.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Herb. Okay, just a couple of messages in, and we'll take some more calls.
Bessie Dupree of St. Petersburg, Florida. When's the last time you tried Ovaltine?
Every day I have it, every night. Oh, I love Ovaltine. I've loved it always.
Carter.
I've got a big bottle of chocolate and a big bottle of malt.
Listen to that
Classic
voice.
Ovaltine not only tastes good, it contains 10 essential vitamins and minerals, nutrients your body needs and wants.
Ovaltine has a lot of nourishing stuff in it.
What a
You see,
voice.
all the vitamins is in it.
Yeah, that
But
voice.
it's got a delightful flavor to me. It's got a very distinct flavor that's delicious. It's a nice drink.
Just 2 glasses of classic Ovaltine and milk provide almost 100% of the recommended daily allowance of B-complex vitamins, A, C, and D, plus other important nutrients the body needs for strong bones, strong teeth, good eyesight, and more.
So I eat good food and drink good things, and that's why I'm healthy. I think Ovaltine's a very special drink. I wouldn't take any other brand. That's the truth.
Classic Ovaltine. Tastes great, and it's great for you. Ovaltine.
I mean, I got to be the only person who talks over commercials and tells you how I hate the voice of the person doing it. But I think she's got her voice is like running your fingernails across a blackboard. Anyway, but Ovaltine, it's great. That's why I've got such lovely bones. And I'm so healthy because I drink it too.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave McKenna with news about the WBZ Farm Stand for Children's Hospital this year. It's September the 17th at the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington. 50,000 pounds of fresh produce at below store prices. We had a bread sale last year that people are still talking about. Thanks to the Mass Farm Bureau, we have thousands of potted plants and shrubs and trees for you to buy. Good food to eat, petting zoos, rides, live music. It's quite a time. But Children's Hospital, the BZ Farm Stand, September the 17th. Come on.
Okay, let's talk with Charlie in Abington. Hi, good morning, Charlie.
Morning, Norm.
Good morning.
I thought it'd be interesting to hear you on the Ellery Queen show. You know, the Ellery Queen show?
The radio show, you mean the old radio
show? The crime show.
Yeah, I remember Ellery Queen, yes.
Yeah. Well, on tonight's program, Arthur Godfrey was one of the suspects.
Oh, really?
Can you imagine that?
What are you talking about them doing reruns on the old Ellery Queen TV show?
Well, it wasn't a rerun. It was just an Ellery Queen show about 7 o'clock. And then Arthur Godfrey turned up as one of the suspects.
Oh, really? Was he guilty?
I don't know. I don't think he was mixed up with her.
Oh,
hey, you want to stay away from the gastrointestinal area with the poops and the... I think it would be good advice if you took them.
Okay, I wasn't thinking of poop as being a gastrointestinal thing.
Of course it is.
An old poop, I just meant it was an old man.
Well, maybe that's...
that was my definition.
No,
wasn't the same thing.
Isn't.
Poop is an actual... Is that a medical term, poop?
Yes, it's well, we won't go into
Well, okay, if you're talking about a bowel movement now,
yeah.
Being a poop. I hope nobody's having breakfast while they listen to it.
That's right.
I'll stay away from it. I'll never mention it again, Charlie. You're right. You're right, and I won't do it ever again.
I mentioned it to be helpful.
No, you are very helpful, and I promise you I will never say that again. You catch me now. If you hear me say it again, call and yell at me.
Yeah, okay. Take it easy.
Okay, Charlie. Let's see if we can just get to Larry before we say goodbye. Hi, Larry. Good morning.
Hi, Norm.
Hi.
Hey, I started listening to you about a year ago. I just wanted to let you know I really like your show.
Hey, thanks a million. You're one of my neighbors up there.
Yeah, right next door to you.
You're using a speakerphone.
No, I'm in a security, and I'm in an empty hallway.
Oh, because you got a great echo sound. That's beautiful. We might be able to use that in our next play.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. But
that's okay.
I love your show. I started working third shift about a year ago, and I try to catch it as often as I can.
Oh,
and one other question. Are you originally from Middleton?
Not originally, but I've lived there probably about 36, 37 years, so I kind of feel like I am. I actually grew up in Everett.
Oh, okay. All righty, thanks a lot, Norm.
Hey, thanks for calling, Larry, and I appreciate the comments. Do you know something? I hate to say this, but it's about time to say goodbye. The WBZ new staff is all set. They're in gear. They're in action. They've called correspondents in from throughout the entire world, and they're going to bring us up to date with all the things that have been happening, and I'm just so grateful. Tonight we'll be have a guest. Let's see. I don't have the information right in front of me. I'm sorry to say, but it'll be an interesting guest. Oh, that we'll be asking kind of questions and telling you the results of polls that were taken when other people were asked these questions. That's kind of a vague thing, what I'm saying, isn't it? That doesn't help you understand what's going on. I tell you what, let's dance a little bit, and then we'll check out the news, right? Of the Brian McKinley is our producer. The lovely, whatever her name is. I'm doing a Sinatra one. I can't remember her name. The lovely Marilyn Gorelnik and myself, the almost good-looking Norm Nathan person. It's been a treat to be with you.
This report brought to you by Boku. About the only snag you'll hit downtown is Stura Drive heading westbound. Just by the Hat Shell, we have some activity there, and as a result, a right lane restriction. The expressway northbound and southbound light to moderate volume. Routes 128, 495, and the Mass Pike doing well. We will see some holiday motorists out in the roadways a little later on, and that could cause some problems. State and local police are in full force this weekend. Watch out. I'm Jack Hart, WBZ 24-hour traffic network.
Store 24 is open all day, every day. Stop by and quench your thirst with a refreshing Boku. Now.
But specifically Sophia Loren. And she said, yeah, if you want to have an affair with her, that's okay with me. She even said I could run away with her.
Well, she considered the possibility.
Yeah, she knew what the chances of that happening. Right. So she could say, yeah. And I could say, yeah, you could have an affair with Robert Redford. So we would have both been playing.
No, I don't think I know. I would not.
Yeah, okay. Because, in this... I'm going to say this softly because I don't want everybody to hear this, but in this business, the temptations that are flaunted at us because we're big stars.
Well, I don't know if we're big stars, but you're right. There is a great deal of temptation in this business.
Yeah, last time I was really tempted was not long ago. I'd say no more than 18, 21 years ago, something like that.
I knew you were going to say that.
When I was a jazz jock, all-night jazz jock. And Rob Floyd is your WBC 24-hour traffic network reporter because he's been carefully handpicked from thousands who envy the position you now hold here.
Thousands.
Rob, I know you're thrilled by that. And you're in line to play the dumb birthday game. We have an interesting panel, but we won't get to that, of course, for a couple of more hours.
Okay.
So you're on your own, just floundering around with the traffic until the fun starts then. Quite fit exactly, with that sleek... Because I see guys dressed now, and they look so great. They can button the top button of their shirts. I've been able to do that since about 1936.
You're very easygoing, aren't you?
Well, sort of, yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm sorry about your boyfriend. You said he died about a year ago?
Yeah, he died last year, and it was too bad because he was young, and he had been perfect health. He took a heart attack.
Oh, is that how? No, really. Now, do you see anybody else now?
No, I haven't. I do. Yeah, one person I see. I do see one other person. And,
does that help a little bit? Because that must have been a terrible thing for you.
Yeah, it's only been, for me, it was March 22nd of last year. Yeah. So,
just a year ago last March.
Yeah.
You sound like a very special lady.
I used to lift his spirits a lot because he used to kind of get down with them, I mean, that's just his personality,
Yeah.
So I used to cheer him up and stuff,
Well, I hope you meet somebody really nice who can keep you company and who can make you laugh and giggle and you enjoy yourself, because that's fun.
Anyway.
Okay. I'll do the best I can, Kathy.
Okay.
Cut that out.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
I hope not.
No, I was just rambling on, that's all. I didn't mean anything personal.
I have a lady who sends me, bakes and sends me apple pies occasionally.
Oh, that's nice.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it's not nice. Why is that?
How to get her to stop.
What's that? You can't stand her food?
Oh, Norman.
It's awful?
It's the worst apple pie you ever tasted. I don't know what the hell she does to it. I don't even put it out for the birds because they'd probably end up dead. I just throw it in the garbage can and tell her it was delicious. I gotta stop telling her it's delicious.
You know what you could do with it, though? If you're not gonna, if you don't want to feed it to any living creature.
No.
Are you living in your own home or are you?
Yeah, I'm in my own home.
So you have land. Why don't you dig a pit and throw the stuff in there? It'll be good for the soil. It's good. It'll when it rots. Maybe it's already rotted. It sounds like it already has the way you're describing it. That's good for the soil, and it just kind of like fertilize it.
She might be putting poison in it and wondering why I'm not dead yet. For all I know.
Oh, you don't know? You've eaten some of it then? Otherwise,
I ate a slice of apple pie at her house 2 years ago, and it was horrible. And she asked me how it was, and I said, "Oh, it's delicious." And that was her cue, and she keeps baking apple pies and sending them over here.
Well, obviously she doesn't put poison in it then.
Well, I don't know.
No, you're just spoofing. You're just making giggly remarks, aren't you? She wouldn't poison it. But therefore, and because if she does, I wouldn't even put it in the soil. But if she doesn't, just dig a pit, throw it in, and then cover it over. And as it rots, it makes the soil much more fertile. At least you'll do something with it.
I don't think it could get any more rotten.
Well, you're all set then.
Oh, God.
It's already decomposed.
You want to hear something really strange?
Well, I expect when you call, I'm going to hear something really strange.
I was at a outdoor barbecue today, and of all the things in the world to talk about, somebody started talking about when she was younger, she could never go to sleep at night unless she looked under her bed to make sure there wasn't anybody there. And that conversation picked up, and everybody who was sitting outside looked under their beds at one time or another to see if anybody was there. And I was cracking up. I thought this was hysterical, but I guess people get phobias where they fear, or they get paranoid at times in their life where they fear that somebody's hiding under their bed or in their closet, or if there's a place in the house, they have to look before they can relax and go to sleep.
I guess, it was funny. There was a play once called Small Wonder that featured Tom Ewell. Do you remember Tom Ewell?
No.
A very funny guy. He did a lot of TV shows later on. Small Wonder was a review, the kind they don't do on Broadway anymore. But he was trying to redesign the human body. He thought that it hadn't been redesigned for a number of years. Anyway, so one of his ideas was we take the index finger. You're wondering how this ties in with what you just said.
Well, right now I am.
Yeah. You'll hear how it comes around and really does tie in with it. But he thought you take the index finger and you put an eye at the end of the finger. Get the idea? Can you see that? So that, like if you're at parades, all you have to do is raise your arm and aim it over people's heads, and then you can see the parade through the finger at the edge of your eye,
right,
or the eye at the end of your finger. And by the same token, he was talking about people who were afraid of going to bed because of fear of who might be underneath the bed. They wouldn't have to get down and to look. They just drop their hand with the eye at the end of the finger and probe that way.
Right.
Okay, now
that is interesting.
Do you see the way that ties in?
Yeah.
Even though you didn't think it would.
God, I mean, when I have an itch in my rear, I could see what's there. I know what I was scratching.
I think now you're getting gross, Fred. I don't think Tom Ewell had that in mind.
I'm the only one who didn't have anything to say about looking under the bed. And one guy finally said, "What about you, Fred? Did you used to look under your bed to see if anybody was there?" And I said, only occasionally, and I was disappointed when I didn't find anybody, because I get very horny before I go to sleep.
Well, and lonely, obviously, too. I mean, you weren't looking for a guy under there, or maybe you were.
Oh, well, I did go with a transvestite, so, I mean, I guess anything will do now.
I recall that transvestite story, Fred. I recall that very clearly. Oh, I tell you.
Did you ever go through a stage where you thought you saw somebody in your bedroom, or you were worried about whether somebody was in your closet or under your bed or anything like that?
No, it's kind of funny because I live out in the woods, and it's it's really dark back there and all that. And some people who come to either stay with me or just come to visit get a little panicky because it's way back. No, I don't. I've got 2 big dogs and a bunch of cats. Sometimes when I'm in the bedroom and I close the door, a cat will jump up against the door and make a noise that's almost human. And I suppose anybody who's not used to that will figure that. But I think walking through a downtown part of a city is much more dangerous. I worry. I get scared about that. I don't get scared about living in the woods. No, not at all.
But so many people get scared about things they can't see. If they can see something, they're not afraid.
Well, I think that's known as, get this, this is really going to be a tremendous statement, full of deep philosophy. It's fear of the unknown.
Since you live in the woods where it's dark,
yes.
Did you ever see anything in the sky that appeared to be like different, something that you couldn't tell what it was, but you definitely thought it wasn't a plane or a helicopter?
Not so much, because I live in the woods, and the trees pretty well cover up the sky. I don't see too much of the sky. No, you mean like an unidentified flying object or something? No, I never have seen one of those. No.
Because on our local radio station down here, a man flagged down a cop, and they were looking at some kind of strange gold-colored disc in the sky that was moving across the sky, and then the radio station reported that other people had seen it too, and nobody knows what it is.
Oh, yeah, you've run into those. No, I've never seen one. I'm sure a lot of people have. I never have, Fred, but as soon as I do, I'm going to call you if you leave your home phone number with Brian McKinley.
Oh, definitely.
No, I'm joking.
Hey, a lot of people have. I mean, New Jersey has a lot of sightings, and Arizona and Wisconsin have the most.
Is that right?
But that's because that's big sky country, where people can watch the whole sky at night.
No, that's true. That's true. What is the big sky country? Montana. Montana is no. That's the nickname for Montana, the big sky country.
Yeah, but in those western states where it's very flat, you get out, you could see from horizon to horizon at night.
Yes, you can. You can, which makes driving kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a section. I was just looking at a book. Oh, look at the time. I got to get going.
Okay.
But there's a book called The Book of Lists. You know that one, by David Wolochensky, Amy Wallace, the Irving Wallace's kids, one of whom went back to the family name. Do you ever see that, The Book of Lists?
No.
I'll put it aside for now, but there's one section here, 10 celebrities who have seen UFOs.
Well, airline pilots have seen them, too.
Yeah, but, okay, but...
In fact, one of the astronauts saw one. Remember?
Yeah, see, but a UFO, all that means is something you don't know. You don't know what it is.
Right.
When we say UFOs, we kind of think of aliens from outer space, but it doesn't really mean that. It means something, and you don't know what it is.
Well, I guess a lot of people see things that they don't know what they are.
I guess that's so, and that's what makes life
That's true.
so darn interesting.
I'll talk to you next week.
Okay, Fred. I graduated high school in 1944, and the day before the high school graduation was May 25th, 1944. On May 24th, 1944, day before, I started working, kind of, I say as a professional, but that means I was getting paid. I don't know if I sounded like a professional.
$2 an hour.
Yeah, no, I think it was probably even less than that. I worked at let's see, the first job I got fired from, I forget how, it was about $5 a day, I think. It was probably less than what you said. I think I made $10 for the weekend. And then I went up to WESX in Salem, and I worked, let's see, it was a 40-hour week. I made $22.50, I think. And then they added an extra day on, and so the salary skyrocketed up to $27 a week. That's less than you were kidding about the figure, but actually I made less than what you just said.
No, right. Last night I was listening to, early in the morning, and you were talking about the old timers there. You had some doctor from Maryland?
Yes.
And he was talking about the old timers?
Yeah, he had graduated from BU Medical School.
No, Tufts.
Oh, Tufts, okay.
And he was talking about Carl DeSuze?
Yes.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to get up in the morning and listen to Carl DeSuze to find out if we had school or not in the wintertime.
No.
Remember they used to do the broadcast?
That's right. And if you heard no schools, all schools, or whatever city you live in.
Beaver Day Country School.
Which one?
Beaver Day Country School. They used to say all the time, Beaver Day Country School was canceled. Beaver Day Country School.
What city did you grow up in?
I lived in Chelsea, right next to you.
No, oh really? Right next to me?
You were from Everett, right?
Yeah, but we moved to Chelsea when I was in high school. So
I went to Chelsea. I graduated. You know how long I've been on the bridge?
How long?
22 years now.
How long?
22. I'm going 23 years now.
Son of a gun. A punk kid like you, a little kid like you.
Shit, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that.
That's all right. It's 20 minutes to 2 in the morning, and it doesn't really matter at this time of day.
Don Kent was on... you forgot Don Kent yesterday when you mentioned all those names.
That's right, yeah. And Don is still around.
He's on the Cape with me, I think. He had a windmill place.
Yeah, he's doing weather for some local stations around the area.
Yeah.
I liked him. I thought he was kind of folksy. I liked Jack Chase, who was here, and a whole bunch of...
sure, yeah.
And, of course, Carl DeSuze, who was a real class act. A lot of good people here.
You know, I hate to say, I'm very sorry about your wife.
Oh, thank you very much. I am, too. She's been gone almost, November will be 3 years.
Yeah.
And there's still a...
She was such a funny person when she used to come over the bridge.
Oh, you did see her, yeah.
Somebody come over in a Rolls Royce. Who was that?
That's right. She was always looking for a story for her column in the Herald. No, she was always looking at incredible. Yeah. As a matter of fact, at the funeral, we had this Dick Schmarrick, Father Schmarrick, who's with St. Columbine's Church now. But his first church was in Middleton, so we got to know him when he was just a kid. You know, anyway, he gave the eulogy, and he was saying, "I bet somewhere she's there now, looking at us, seeing who came to the service with whose wife and what's going on." Exactly. And he went through that whole thing.
What can I write?
Yeah, what can I write? What's what's happening here, and who is sitting here? You know, all that kind of. But she was always on the job, always looking for a story and that kind of. She was. Being married to her for over 40 years as I was like being on a roller coaster. I mean, it was just a wild, lovely experience. I wish I could do it again.
Yeah, all right, so listen, Norm, it was very nice talking to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Okay, I'll try to drive around when you're on duty.
Okay, take care, Norm.
Thanks for the call, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He's a nice man. Jim Morley, who works on the Tobin Bridge.
I swear, I think I've met Linda Chase. I think I met her. She was playing, I think, in Manchester, New Hampshire.
She could very well have been. I know she was...
her name sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah.
I think I met her like about 3 years ago.
Now, she's at Ken's Steakhouse a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And one week, a few weeks ago, I went up to... where'd I go? Hampton Beach, and she played one of the clubs up there.
Really? Huh.
So she gets around to New Hampshire every now and then, but mostly Ken's, and then she has more of a full-fledged, kind of a Broadway, miniature Broadway show kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Norm, you're really late for the news.
Oh, I really am, yeah.
Hey, can I play the dumb birthday game? Are you all full?
Yeah, gee, we are. I was just looking at our producer, and he was saying, apparently he told me back around 12:30 that we're all full, but usually we don't get filled up quite that quickly. Huh. But a lot of people did call. I'm so sorry. How about next weekend?
I'll certainly try, sir.
Oh, if you call early in the evening and talk with...
If I can. Unfortunately, by the time I get home, Well,
whenever you get a chance. And also, we call you back so you don't even have to pay the phone bill.
Oh, I know. That. Isn't that handy?
Oh, well, I think that's only fair.
I'll certainly try to make it down to the farm stand because I want to meet you. That'd be great. I'm a big fan.
Oh, that's great. I'll be looking for you. I'll be there much of the morning.
That's great.
Okay, very good.
Okay, Mike. And all you Howard Stern fans out there, come on, be nice, will you?
Okay, take care, Mike.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Nice of you to spend some time with us. I appreciate that a whole lot. Again, tonight at 11, we'll be doing a little quiz stuff with rock and roll. So even if you don't know a whole lot about rock and roll, and I certainly don't, I think it'll be fun to talk about it and talk about a book that has some very interesting questions. I think the answers of which may intrigue you in any event. So on behalf of Brian McKinley, on behalf of the lovely Marilyn Gorelnik, and on behalf of our entire group, including me, the almost good-looking Norm Nathan person, I hope you have a good day today. Okay, here. So I think it's something you ought to call my brother-in-law, the lovely Bernie, about, and he fixes radios.
Okay, that must have been my fault. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know whether it's your fault or not. You were born with a guilt feeling. Same as me. I bump into a post and I apologize for 20 minutes. I think Adam and Eve would still be living in the Garden of Eden if it hadn't been for something terrible I did.
Stop by a participating station, apply for an Exxon credit card, and you'll get a free 6-pack of Coca-Cola. Exxon, rely on the Tiger. By Route 18 in Weymouth, we've got crews. Also, Route 3 in the Kingston area, still some activity right around the Trooper Charbonnet Memorial in Kingston, just by exit 9. Watch out for that. Route 128 heading northbound by Route 30 in Weston. We've got work crews. 128 southbound by Totten Pond Road, right down to Route 9. We've got some work crews. Also, just seeing the off-ramp from Route 128 southbound to Route 20 shut down. That's in the Waltham Weston area. We've got some work crews out on Route 93 northbound and southbound, Route 129 to Dask
Lipscomb Road. And the Route 93 heading northbound at Route 60, we've got some work crews. The ramp is shut down there. We keep that in mind. That's in the Medford area. Downtown, the expressway northbound and southbound to Route 93, the expressway, we've got some work crews. We've got work crews in the Sumner Tunnel. That structure is shut down till 5:30. Two-way traffic in the Callahan Tunnel is your alternate route. And Central Artery heading northbound, getting up towards the top of that structure. Things a little bit slow. Work crews have the new loop from Route 93 northbound to the Tobin Bridge heading northbound open, but some crews remain there to do some last-minute work.
Monte Carlo, with a cockpit built around the driver and a style all its own. There's bound to be more gawkers today than usual at your Chevy dealers.
They figure I'm the throwaway act, and who knows him anyway, and who cares? You come on about an hour later. Yeah. By that time, everybody there may be so sloshed.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm counting on people to have a lot of drinks, which also will raise some money for Lifehouse. And but I think it'll be interesting because, as you said, we're personalities on the air, and we inject some humor in what we do. But to stand up in front of an audience of folks and try and be funny with 2.5 to 5 minutes is going to be a completely different game.
Oh, I've got 2.5 to 5 minutes. I didn't realize that. I have about 38 minutes of really solid material.
Norm, I am more than happy to entertain other people and give you that full 38 to 40 minutes.
But these guys, Tim Flaherty and Charles Cohen, who are the public relations people who are putting all of this together, talking in terms of a hook. Were you aware of what the hook is?
The letter that I got said that they've been sharpening the hook. I think that's referring to the old vaudeville days. They had that giant cane, and they would simply hook it around your neck and yank you off the stage if you weren't doing very well.
That's right. Yeah, that was the guy behind the curtains. During amateur night, particularly.
Right.
Fred Allen talks about that in one of his books, Much Ado About Me, which is one of... The other book has even a funnier title. Fred Allen wrote a book composed of a lot of the scripts he'd written through the years, and it's called... And he felt... once you were doing radio, you did it, and then who remembered it 3 minutes later, it went off into the air somewhere. He called it Treadmill to Oblivion, which I thought was the most depressing title of any book I've ever seen. But he talks about the hook, because he came from around here, and he used to appear at vaudevilles, those amateur programs at a lot of the local theaters.
Sure.
And the other thing, of course, is, hold on a minute, I have a sound effect for this. The gong, which was a Major Bose thing in the... See, long before you were born, in the 30s and the early 40s, I guess, before television, where he hit the gong. I thought, in a sense, as I look back on those days, it's kind of nice that they treated amateurs badly and they got rid of a lot of the schlocky ones. In which case, you wonder, like, would Madonna have survived that period? Wouldn't we have gotten rid of a whole lot of cruddy people like that right at the beginning?
I don't see Madonna faring very well in the 1930s or 40s. There's no question about that. But it's interesting because you talk about generations where the gong was part of vaudeville. For my generation, or probably for kids even younger than I am, Chuck Barris and the Gong Show came on and sort of...
The thing starts at 7. There'll be nobody there at 7:20, and the few people who will be there will all be cold sober. So I take that as a challenge.
So we're encouraging people to come early and drink heavily. That's basically
it. In fact, if you can drink before you even get there, that'd be kind of slosh away upstairs.
Park the car, stop out in different spots in Faneuil Hall, and make your way upstairs.
That's right, and just fall into a chair with a total numb look on your face.
Now, are you going to bring some props?
No props. No, I'm just going to stand there, hands in pocket, looking kind of adorable, for an old guy. And no, I will not have it. Are you going to bring some props?
I don't think so. I mean, I think there'll be enough people there with props that we can sort of borrow things from the audience or make them up on the fly. We've got quite a lot of company who are going to be with us on stage on Monday.
You name some of the people who are there.
From BZ, Bruce Schwegler is going to be there. Shelby Scott will be there. You will be there. I'll be there. Sarah Edwards and Michelle Michaels from Channel 7, Marjorie Claprud from another radio station and from Lifetime Television.
WRKO, we can mention it. Nobody listens anyway over there.
Who else? I think Frank Malencote from Channel 56 just signed on board.
He just signed on, He's the sports guy over there.
Yeah.
And, of course, the two women who...
Laura and Gail Fee, who do the Inside Track.
That's right. They'll be there. And there may be some surprise people. There's some rumors that David Letterman, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jay Leno,
And Dave's new friend Madonna will be there as well.
Madonna may be there too. But anyway, the hours they call is 7 to 9. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't run longer than that. And maybe I hope begins a little bit later than that. But it is at the Quincy Market, and you can buy tickets there. There are tickets still available.
There are tickets still available. I believe the cheaper seats are $12, and the most expensive seats are $20. And again, to remind folks, as you said earlier, it really does go to a good cause. Lifehouse Incorporated, which is helping to find homeless shelter for people who do not have it in the Dorchester area.
You want to try a joke on me first before you go?
Does it have to be clean?
Oh, absolutely not. Are you kidding, man?
Well, you heard about these the pictures of Prince Charles. The naked pictures of Prince Charles.
Yeah, they were kind of, I saw the pictures. They're kind of vague, you know. So,
yeah.
Which is okay with me. I'd rather see naked pictures of Princess Diane or Lady Diane. I mean, anyway.
Well, you've heard about these pictures. Turns out he's Jewish.
Oh, really? They could tell. Were the parts of the pictures were that clear, were they?
Apparently so, and his ears are still the biggest thing on his body. So, we can only wish him and the entire royal family the best of luck. I'm now going to bury my head in the sand and practice my jokes for Monday evening, and I promise those listening, they will be much different.
You don't sound as enthusiastic talking to me as you did talking about Exxon.
Well, I had just taken off my headphones, and they're broken, and so like the little parts that go over your ears, you kind of have to reattach to the headband part every time you take them off and on. So I kind of had one thing holding on to between my chin and my cheek and shoulder, and so that's if I sounded less than enthusiastic, it's just that I was.
Are you suggesting we have shoddy equipment?
Oh, well, no, this is my own personal equipment. I've got shoddy equipment.
Oh, I see.
Sure, I bought it at the shoddy equipment store.
Okay, that's on the 15th floor here at WBZ Broadcast Center.
Yes, it is.
Right across from the Museum of Broadcast Artists. And right next to the WBZ Farm Stand store.
Yes, it is. And you can get yourself a minute-and-a-half egg timer so that you have to keep on turning it over if you want a 3-minute egg.
Well, we figured this way we sell 2 egg timers instead of 1.
Yes.
I don't know what that means. Anyway, I was coming into this, if I may talk shop with you, may I?
Oh,
just
sure,
for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because I know you love to talk shop.
Oh, you bet.
Okay, there's this woman here. Her name is Beatrice Shop. And anyway, that is what I really would start out to say. I just thought that'd be so hilarious. I'm getting ready for my big debut as a stand-up comic Monday.
Well, I'm going to be there, by the way.
Are you going to be there?
I'll be there spectating.
Oh, you ought to be there as a comic.
Well, I don't have any real stand-up stuff.
Neither do I.
Oh.
I'm just going to stand up anyway, and then I'll worry about the rest of it.
Although I think our colleague, Mr. Stapleton, may be doing a short bit.
Oh, Joe Stapleton, the traffic guy, will be doing something?
I think so.
Day, the punk rock band.
Oh, yeah, those young kids.
About 40 people were arrested as a result, I guess. The fans rushed the stage.
Wow.
They had a huge crowd and the whole thing. You were not reporting traffic that early, though, were you?
No, I started just at midnight on BZ.
Okay, because I just couldn't imagine why traffic was backed up all over the place, leading towards stores. Is it still?
Still back almost to Everett Circle.
That's right. I heard you just say that, and yeah. that. I imagine what it's like to be a police officer, and you're told there's a riot, or what? Now, I guess riot may be a strong word, although it was pretty close to that.
A melee, maybe.
A melee would be good.
A ruckus.
Let's see how a ruckus would be good. Let me see.
Much ado.
Much ado. I'm just looking at the story here, and to see whether the Associated Press writer used a verb of his or her own. Anyway, I guess the band members dropped their instruments, ran from the stage. I mean, it was really a wild session.
I can imagine.
And I just wonder what it was like being a police officer. You called in to cover this thing. Man, boy, there's a big thing going on at Hatch Shell of 50,000 people.
Well, I think the beauty behind something like that is that for the most part, the kids that are there, they may rush the stage or whatever, but I think that probably people that are going to enjoy some music are not inherently evil and, more enthusiasm than ill intent.
You know something? You're a compassionate, decent human being, and what you just said brought me to my senses. It really did. Although my senses were exploding at around 10 o'clock when I was trying to figure out how am I going to get there. Anyway, I swung around to Memorial Drive because I happen to be a native of this area and knew the shortcut.
Oh, sure.
And
well,
then-
that's a whole macho thing, knowing shortcuts.
I tell you what, let's talk later.
Okay.
And, of course, we'll talk with you on the dumb birthday game later on, which will be just a great deal of fun.
You bet.
Meantime, if you can put your earphones back to order again and repair them in some kind of manner, I certainly would appreciate it. Thank you just so much.
I'll get right on it.
Okay. That's Jack Hart and his RCA Bluebird Recording Orchestra. Quote from the news director, Henry Santoro, says, "This is punk rock at its finest, but was held at the wrong venue." I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe it should not. Maybe it should have been held indoors someplace, or rather than Hatch. Would it? Maybe I don't know. It doesn't sound like. I don't know what it sounds.
Well,
like.
can I say something?
Sure.
Boston is a very hard town for aspiring rock, punk, grunge rock musicians. I've been hiring for years when I used to cook as a chef, and it's musicians can always use a few extra bucks. There's not a lot of places that show like the ability, and it's by and large it is a very, very hard town for a band to make a living in. I'm not talking like singers like Mel Torme or people like that who, they have little followings everywhere, South Shore, et cetera. There just isn't a lot of venues for these bands. And every year or so, one or two clubs less. There was a place on Huntington Ave, Ed Burke's. He used to have excellent music. Rhythm and blues, soul. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone too?
Yeah, and it's just, there's not much left. Harper's Ferry in Brighton or Ralston, whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something to you for a long time, and I guess I should say it.
I can take it. Go, just fire away, big guy.
It's like Uncle Norman's general store back around the turn of the century when everybody used to meet and talk with each other, and it's a good feeling, and you help a lot of people make it through the night, and I'll say this one time, thank you for being there.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate you saying that.
You're welcome. I wanted to tell you about something that was in the newspapers here. In our town, my town, a store opened up on the main street, and they have they sell leather garments, everything from undergarments to coats and I understand leather negligees. I mean, I've never heard of things like this, but
well, this is people who have, I guess, have a leather fetish, eh?
Yeah.
Catering to those folks, eh? Ooh, my.
What they did is they took a mannequin and put her out on the sidewalk in front of the store, fully dressed in leather brassiere and leather panties and some kind of something else. I don't remember what it was. But a guy came and robbed her. He stole her and ran away. In fact, the owner of the shop saw him running down the street with the mannequin and called the police, but they haven't found him or the mannequin. But the guy has received a ransom note now. Who owns the store for his mannequin?
You're making this up, aren't you?
No, I'm not making it up. It's in the paper.
Well, I know you say it's in the paper, but I'm not looking at the paper.
Oh, God, do I have to mail you the article so you believe me? I don't have to make these things up. Don't you know it's weird out there?
I know it's weird out there, but you find the weirdest things of anybody I know.
It's in my local paper.
Okay.
Now, when I read it, you know what I thought about? Years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, I saw a movie on television. Late at night, it was an old movie, and it was about a guy who, on his way home from work, passed a department store window with a mannequin in it, and he fell in love with the mannequin, and the mannequin came to life. Do you remember that?
Yeah, in fact, there was a sequel to that, too.
There was?
Yeah, there was that movie, which was, I don't know why they put a sequel to it, because the original movie was pretty stupid, but there was a second part that did come out. Yes, I do recall.
Huh.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? I guess some people find mannequins or dolls, maybe from their childhood, sexual objects, because these naughty stores that sell adult books, you can buy the little packages that you take home and blow up, and you end up with an
Yeah, that's right. The balloon.
anatomically
balloon
correct doll.
That's right. Yeah. It's kind of funny because very, very long time ago, there was a group called the Mills Brothers. And one of the hit songs they had was Paper Doll. It was called Paper Doll. I'm going to buy a paper doll that I can call my own. And the idea was instead of a fickle-minded real-life girl, and I forget how it goes, but the idea was the paper doll would be subservient to this fella. It wouldn't be fickle like a real person.
Right.
And in a way, only when in kind of a strongly sexual way, this just seems to have come about with a lot of people with this rubber doll thing, the balloon doll, and all of that kind of stuff. The mannequins, the whole thing. In a way, it's kind of an extension of the old Mills Brothers song, which at the time seemed very gentle and quite harmless.
I don't remember this. What time is this you're talking about?
Oh, this was, I'm going to buy a paper doll that I can call my own. Pardon me for singing, but when I sing, I can think better.
That's all right.
And it usually makes other people think a little bit less, but my paper doll.
Was this more than...
this was back in the 40s. It would be in the 40s, and it really goes back. It's World War II stuff, or maybe soon thereafter, but during that period.
I wasn't even a dream then.
No, I mean, most people weren't even born, so most people who are listening at this very moment have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You know, I think, this is my own opinion, when they find the guy who stole the mannequin, I think they're going to find the guy who stole the panties off the clothesline next to me.
There seems to be some kind of a relationship, doesn't there?
Well, you know, somebody has to be freaky to do something like that.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like good, harmless fun.
Not if you own the mannequin. I mean, those things are expensive. I think they cost about $500.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Let's see. Okay, Jack, are you there?
Yes.
I'm told. Yeah, this is Fred. Fred is in New Jersey. Fred comes across weird stuff.
I see.
And anyway, Tony tells me you know that paper doll song.
Sure. Mills Brothers, one of my favorite groups.
Isn't that interesting? Because you're probably about the same age, Fred. How old are you, Fred?
I was born in '63. I'm going to be 31.
Okay, I think you're about that age, aren't you? A little bit older, but not much.
33 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're very close. But neither one of you was around when that song was new back in the 40s. But
I never heard it.
Huh.
Yeah, see now, you see the difference between you, Fred, and a member of our staff here named Jack Hart. Do you understand why he is working here and you're in some godforsaken place in New Jersey, just wasting your life away because you don't know these intricate, these terribly important things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, traffic controlmen have to be super people.
They have to know everything.
Yeah,
not just traffic.
They have
not
to know
just
everything.
Everything. That's right. Songs. You ought to see the test they give these guys before they allow them to do traffic.
Oh, physics, songs, modern culture, absolute astronomy.
That's right. A lot of Shakespeare. They got to know Shakespeare because you never know when you're giving a traffic report when you're apt to lapse into Elizabethan language. A lot of them do that. I noticed
verily.
that. Yeah, verily. See you see what I'm saying, Fred?
Yes, that's why they go on to bigger and better things.
He's got to know logarithms. And all other kinds of rhythms.
And isobars.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, I had one of those for dessert just the other day.
Yeah, that's right. It was with milk or cream and some kind of fruit. It's the breakfast of champions. Yeah. Do you understand that, Fred? Do you see where you're wanting?
Yes.
When I get somebody your age who has become a tremendous success in broadcasting because he's a traffic man, you can understand why your life fades into oblivion. It's pitiful. It's pitiful, Fred.
How useless and innocuous I feel that I never heard the song Paper Doll. I mean, that's unforgivable.
Fabulous song.
I wonder if you could just sing a little bit of it for us, if you would do that, Jack.
I'm gonna buy a paper doll that I can call my own, a doll that other fellows cannot steal. And then that flirty guy with a...
Oh, that wasn't nice.
No, I didn't do that. That was Tony, because here's my gong. See, totally unused. I was thinking of it, but I didn't do it. Oh, stop it. Wow. This is the Battle of the Gongs.
I feel like I'm at a Chinese temple.
I mean, Jack was on his way to a new career there.
No, he's on his way, and the fact that he doesn't sing terribly in tune, that doesn't matter. You understand? He has soul and he has a feel for a song, which you, if you live to be 100, Fred, will never have.
Probably. You're right.
Just can't do it mechanically.
Okay. Well, anyway, I want to thank both of you. You mind if I get rid of both of you right now? Because I'm getting sick of both of you.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll get rid of you first. Let's see, let me get rid of...
I wouldn't tell... what I want to do...
Yeah.
Can I bring my wife down?
I would love to meet your wife. Yeah, could you send her in and you stay outside in the car?
See, right away. Now you're doing ad-lib with me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, I'd love to bring my wife down, Dottie.
Dottie, yeah.
And if you want to call her from the audience, she sings all the Irish songs. She sings Bonnie Baker songs like Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
She tap dances if you let her tap dance. She's 66 years old now, for God's sake.
She wouldn't
Give the
like...
lady a break,
hey,
huh?
She wouldn't like you telling her age like that.
Well, that's all right. I'm 67.
Yeah, but you give your age.
Yeah, but
women don't like to do that.
Norman, we're too old goats over the hill.
See, I don't really arrange the program, so it would be kind of out of order for me to...
we would like to come down and see Norm Nathan in person.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Now I'm really getting nervous.
No, don't get nervous. No,
I am, because I'm kind of hoping nobody shows up, that it's totally empty.
They will show up, Norman.
And I can mumble through...
show up.
Okay.
I promise you. Do you know you're a big celebrity?
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know. I didn't even know I was a little celebrity.
Are you milking the audience out there?
You mean next Monday or right now?
No, milking the audience now to get the people to come and you're scared. You're not scared.
Yes.
You couldn't stand up there and look at those people.
Everybody's scared.
You do radio 5 hours a night. Come on, Norman.
Yeah, but this is different. I got to stand up and do comedy.
No, I did it all my life.
Well, I know that, so you're used to that, but I'm not. I don't get up in nightclubs and do bits. So this'll
have confidence. Don't you have poverty? What is that word they use? You think you're the greatest, you say.
Well, no, I don't think I'm the greatest. But obviously, if I thought I was going to be really awful, I wouldn't have accepted the whole...
Put yourself down.
Well, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know
what's going to happen. The minute they say Norm Nathan, they're going to applaud for 5 minutes. And there goes your act.
There I go. Then I have to leave the stage.
I got one closing bit if you want to do it.
Well, tell me what that is. I'm open to suggestions.
Okay. Now, you love animals and everything.
Oh, I adore animals. Obscenely. Yeah.
You love dogs. You have dogs?
I have a couple of dogs, yes.
Okay. Now, do you have a dog that he would be, he'd understand if you put him on a chair behind you? In the background.
I don't know. I have to rehearse the next couple of days.
No, don't rehearse it. The dog, you sit him there on the back of the chair, and you come out and do your 5 minutes funny material, 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
The dog is sitting on the chair, facing me, behind me, and he's
behind you.
And he's looking at me.
And he's just looking at the audience. And they say, Norm Nathan's going to do something with that dog.
I see, yeah.
Now, you got the bit now?
But I never do.
Now, listen to me.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You know the bit, and I'm trying to refresh your memory.
Okay.
You know the routine.
Okay, that I'm doing my shtick, and the dog is sitting there in the chair looking at the audience.
Right.
Then what?
Then, after you finish your act, somebody else from the audience, hey, Norman, what does the dog do? Oh, the dog, nothing. He just loves my act.
That was the dog. You know, that just might work.
It will work. These are old bits from vaudeville. My dad gave me these routines.
You know what would happen? Oh, that's great. What would happen is the dog would sit there for about 3 seconds and then come and pee all over my shoes. Well, I suppose that would...
laugh.
Well, that would be... That's right, true. That would be a funny bit.
Up, Leo. Down, Leo. Don't you know the guy with the dog act that used to do it years ago? What's his name? I can't even remember it.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
The dog wouldn't do a damn thing in his act. But he says, over the leg. And the dog, come on, you can do it, son. You can do it. Come on, you know the same acts I know. You went to all the vaudeville theaters and nightclubs.
I know, I do. I've seen somebody do an act like that, but I can't remember who that would be. I think it was a man named Mordechai Rechtsite.
Something like that.
Something of that nature, yeah.
But you're going to do well. I know you're going to do well.
Well, I'll do the best.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show. Is it going to cost me $20?
Yeah, I think so. It's because it's a charity. I really can't ask for free tickets.
No. I don't mind paying. Don't worry about that.
Would you really come? Would you really come?
I'm going to bring my kilts, my bagpipes.
Oh, now see, I can't call upon you to sing.
I'm not going to come up. Can I not walk in and be like, okay, I'm a Scotsman, okay? Why can't I walk in with kilts, with bagpipes? I'm not asking you to bring me on the stage or anything.
Yeah, because I really don't have the authority to do that.
No, you don't have nothing. Don't worry about it.
Well, don't say I don't have nothing. Don't say I don't have nothing. I must have something. Otherwise, why am I up here on the stage?
Okay, can I just come dressed up as a human being?
You could. That would be a disguise for you, wouldn't it? You're my friend. You're my friend.
Norman.
Yes.
Do you really go in at 7:20?
I know what they're putting. They think very little of me. I'm the opening act.
Why you putting yourself down?
Because they had an ad like in the Herald today.
Who's the producer of this show?
Oh, the couple of people who run.
Not Bob Raleigh, I hope.
No, it's a couple of people who run a public relations agency, and they ran an ad in the Herald today.
Yeah.
And they didn't even mention me in the ad. And the Globe had a couple of stories yesterday. They mentioned me sort of. I was in the part that was called "and others." I was sort of included in that section. So I haven't done well with the publicity. Then they put me as one of the opening acts, which indicates they think even less of me. Get the guy on there, get him off. We'll save Bruce Schwegler and Shelby Scott and all these hilarious stand-ups for later.
People don't do comedy. They do.
No, but these people only watch television. They never listen to radio. They don't know what's on radio.
You're a star, you are.
I know I am. I kept telling them that, but they don't listen, Robert. It makes me cry.
Well, you must tell them who you are. You've been in this business all your life.
Hold on a minute. Let me tell them. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Look. No, I'm talking to them on the other line. Hold on just a minute. Hey, look at Tim. I'm a star. Okay? You can't put me on first. I'm a star. The whole show should build up to me. I should be the climax. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I'm not through yet. I may even buy... no, I was going to say I was going to buy a new suit for this, but...
No.
No, I won't.
Come as yourself.
I think I just failed.
No, you didn't. I am coming Monday night. I'm going to sit in the back of it. I will pay my $20. It's a benefit, right?
It is. It's a benefit for a good cause. Yes,
okay,
it is.
I will.
Although I've never...
You know why I want to come?
Yeah?
I want to see you in person. I've never ever met you.
That's right. We have never met. That's true. We've only
I
yelled at each other on the phone.
But you won't ignore me or anything if I say, hey, I'm Robert,
No, I
you
won't.
want to brush me off like the big stars do after you do a good job up there.
I'm not like that at all. Of course
I know you're not. I know you're not. Otherwise, you wouldn't talk to me.
That's right. Listen,
I respect you. You're you have a lot of guts to do what you do every night. To listen.
Oh, that's easy. Standing up in front of people at a comedy club, that takes guts.
They got booze there and everything?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm hoping people will be sloshed before I get on.
Oh, no.
They won't be because I'm at the beginning. They'll just
That's good. That you're better off.
Yeah. You think it's better than
because the minute they start drinking 2, 3, 4 drinks, these kids don't know how to drink. But I have a feeling you're going to have fans of yours who do not even drink.
And
do you have to drink if you go in?
No.
Because I'm not going to drink when I come down.
No, you don't have to. No, because you're not drinking anymore, are you?
No, I'm down to 2, 3 beers now.
Okay, no, you don't have. You can drink a beer, I suppose. You don't have to drink anything if you don't want to.
No, I don't mind a beer or something.
No, because that's why they have the admission thing, and that's to pay the folks who help out the homeless. But I don't think you have to buy anything beyond that.
No, they're not going to make me covered charge like.
No, you're paying it. Well, you're paying that in a sense. It's a covered charge. You're paying to get in.
Oh, that's okay.
No, but I don't think you have to pay anything beyond that.
Because I mean, I'm not going to go in there and get loaded or anything, and give me a double shot of this and give me beer and.
No, what I'm planning to do. No, I think the audience will be sober. I'll be the one who's drunk.
No, you won't. You're going to do good. You're going to see me Monday.
Oh, well, I thank you very
But
much,
I'm not
Robert.
going to say anything to you. I'm going to sit in the back of the when you come out, don't run away, because I'm going to run back. You do have a dressing room back there? Toilets or something like that?
No, I don't. Well, I hope there's a toilet because...
Norman, are they going to give you a hook for the dressing room? Remember the old jokes?
Well, no, they're talking about using a hook or a gong.
No. They don't do that to start.
No, but they're talking about the possibility of that on anybody.
Oh, no, they don't do that.
Well, they do that, and we take
all the people are going down there are doing a benefit. They wouldn't do that. Anybody... I'll come down here with the guys from Everett down here.
My old buddies in Everett, that's right.
Oh, you better believe your buddies from Everett will be down there.
We'll beat the living hell out of them if they
You
fool
better
around
believe
with
it.
Okay.
Nobody gives those celebrities. It's a benefit now.
Yes, it is. It is
You're
a benefit.
Gentlemen, you give me this much time.
I know it.
You never even hung up on me.
I'm about to do that now, though. I won't hang up on you. I'll just say thank you for calling, and I'll look to see you Monday.
I'll be there Monday.
You and Dorothy.
No, I think Dorothy's going to have to take care of her mother.
Okay, well...
Dorothy's listening to you right now, telling me that I'm going to bring her tap shoes down and everything.
Oh, Maple Street. 39 Maple Street.
Yes.
I don't know. I suppose his family lives there. I don't know.
No, it's the Senior Citizen Center.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what it is. That used to be the town hall.
Yeah, I just
And they remodeled it beautifully inside, and it's the Middleton Senior Citizen Center, and it's lovely stuff. They got a handicapped ramp and all kinds of stuff they built in since, but that's where the old town meetings used to be held many years ago.
Oh, I saw it on the sign there when I was going by there. I go by there once or twice a week. I go to Danvers and.
Oh yeah, you go right down 62.
Mm-hmm. And every night I go to Bangor. So.
Every night you go every night.
Every night.
Does that get kind of rough doing all that driving?
It's not too bad. I kind of enjoy it. I'm home every day, so it's not bad. When it used to be, you've gone 3 or 4 weeks, it got to be a real pain.
But then again, you must be very tired, I would think.
No, I sleep about 4 hours a day, and I do normal activities just like people that live in the real world,
Okay, and then back on the truck again. You sound like you got a tremendous amount of stamina. That sounds really rough.
Yeah, well, I'm like 42, but I look like about 70.
Well, 42 that's right. 42, you're right at the peak of your physical powers.
It's all what you get used to, and I enjoy it, and I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else right now. So.
Okay, I appreciate the call. Do keep in touch.
Okay, and y'all talk me into coming Monday. I'll have to take the night off, but I guess I'll have to be there.
Okay, Russ, thanks a lot.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.
Lover, so you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
The family had just finished their Sunday dinner, and the mother was out in the kitchen washing the dishes, and the father and son were lingering at the table, and the dog was lying on the floor attending to his personal hygiene. And the boy looks up and he says, "Dad, how come the dog licks his butt?" Father looked straight ahead, stared for a minute while he thought, turned to his son and said, "One of your mother's meatballs fell on the floor. The dog ate it, and he's trying to get the taste out of his mouth."
Mary from Kittery, Maine. That's not what I call, but yeah, I like the new Mary.
It's a lot looser than the old Mary, who was she was prudish and prissy, and even though she didn't know what I was talking about.
Well, she used to impose, born again Christianity.
Well, she would talk religion primarily.
Yeah.
Not primarily, but solely, I guess. I mean, that was the topic always.
I've noticed the past months that she's looser with Bob too.
Yeah.
She gives us more leeway. One of the things I found interesting on the birthday game on August 21st, it was a few Sundays ago. It was during that week when Bob was off. Well, it was on a weekend anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But you must have had the whole panel. You must have had nobody over 21 years old on the panel because nobody knew who Chris Schenkel was except you.
Yeah.
And I was part of it on Chris Schenkel. I knew he was 71. If I was on, I would have got it, hit it on the button.
Yeah.
Because I remember him, growing up in the 60s. Because I'm 41. Also on about a month ago, you accused me of giving away trade secrets, and you said Tony was going to come to my house. You were teasing me. You said the BZ Hit Squad was going to rearrange my bridge work because I noticed that traffic reporters use different names, and I recognize their voices when they. And Jack Hart was talking on the birthday game about Paul Drake and Gary Spalding, and that was kind of cute that he confirmed what I told you a month ago.
No, we all knew that. I was just being cutesy with you and saying not. But I mean, it's not even a trade secret. I think people know if they switch from one station to the other. But I don't think the people who carry the stations that carry traffic reports want it to be known that they're on a million other stations too, with different names. But we're proud of the fact that Jack is on our station with his own name, and he's on here more than he is most other stations. Yeah, but that does happen. It's a little game that he play.
Well, it was kind of funny. About a month ago, Lana Jones was doing the news, I think on a Saturday afternoon, between 12 and 12:10. I always listen to Paul Harvey, and she said, now we're going to do the traffic report with Gina Tempesta. And then the woman did the report, and then at the end of the report, the woman said, Victoria Provo, WBZ traffic, and Lana said, thanks, Gina.
Yeah.
That was kind of cute. She insisted on calling her name that she uses on another station. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah. Now, it gets a little confusing sometimes. You're not quite sure.
And also, on this thing on Monday, you don't know if is that the Green Line? Is that the Faneuil Hall?
No, it's not Faneuil Hall. It's the.
I don't know.
It's in the Rotunda. It's across from Faneuil Hall, one of the other buildings at Quincy Market.
Well, is it the Haymarket stop or Government Center?
No, it's
Green Line.
No, it's Quincy Market.
No, I mean on the Green Line. What T stop?
Oh, what T stop?
I think it's either Government Center or Haymarket.
Oh, Government Center, I'm told, or Haymarket. It's near both of them, I think. No, Haymarket probably would be closer. Government Center is a block up.
Yeah.
Government Center is in front of the City Hall.
That's what I thought.
And this is a block closer toward it. Haymarket would be close. I guess that would be the best.
Are all the tickets gone?
No, they're not all gone at all. I think there'll be plenty of them available Monday.
Because I got to go.
Really?
I want to meet Robert and Selma. That's going to be cute, meeting all these.
Okay. A lot of people say they're planning to come. I hope they do. But there are going to be a lot of people there from different radio stations, not mostly television stations. And
there'll be a lot of visuals. There'll be spoken word too, right? I mean,
I don't use any visuals. Mine will be strictly spoken. I suppose the others will too. The only thing I've heard was that Bruce Regler may throw snowballs into the audience, but I don't know that that's true either. He's sort of trying to work out some kind of a routine.
Yeah,
so I don't know what he will do, but no, there won't be. I don't expect there'll be visuals. This is a spoken thing, just people standing up and doing comedy.
Yeah, and I want to thank you before I go. Last Saturday, I heard you did the breast cancer walk information for me. That it was Sunday 25th at 11 from the Hatch Shell.
Yes.
Strides against breast cancer.
Yeah, one of my daughters is working on that.
Sonia?
Sonia is working on that. Yeah. Sunday, September 25th. It will be. That's right.
My mother died of breast cancer, so my sister has it too.
My mother did too.
I know.
An awful lot of people did, and that's the tragedy of it all. But anyway, that's when it will be. It will be on that date, on the 25th. I'm just looking at the information. I have it in front of me. As a matter of fact, starting at the Hatch and ending at the Hatch Shell, and it's just a 5-mile walk.
Oh yeah.
You know all that stuff. It starts at 11 a.m. on Sunday, September 25th.
Yeah. Well, I had requested you get the information, and you found it. You did read it.
Yeah. They have the best bet for anybody else who wants to take part in that is to call the American Cancer Society at Commonwealth Avenue. That's the Massachusetts division. The number is 617, of course, is the area code.
That's in Copley Square, right?
It's just above Copley Square, going toward Mass Avenue.
Right.
Sort of halfway between both. It's 267-2650.
Right.
And for people outside the area who still want to take part, and they have a toll-free number, is 1-800-952-7664. That's the toll-free number. If you live outside the area.
Yeah, it was good to hear Tony back on the scene too on the birthday game.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is good, even though he's come back and just loaded with drugs and half out of his mind with alcohol, but he's back. I made that up.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
doesn't.
if I ever get a job as a traffic reporter, I'm going to use the name Olivius Rakoff.
Olivius Rakoff.
Well, you were talking about getting a Rakoff a senior discount.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there was an orchestra leader here named Rakoff, was his last name, R-A-K-O-V. You know that name?
Yes.
Okay.
I got it from. Or I could go by the name Hayes Bickford. Which is
Hayes Bickford would be good.
That's a restaurant.
I realize that, yes.
It's a good name for a traffic reporter.
A Waldorf Astoria, I suppose you could call yourself almost anything. Anyway, take care.
I'll let you go.
Okay, Glenn, take care.
The 24-hour traffic network guru for WBZ, our good friend, Jack Hart. Jack?
Thank you very much, Josh. We are...
There's a big party going on.
I was told by a man named Frank Fitzgerald that such a thing was about to happen.
Mr. Fitzgerald called you?
Well, he called somebody else who
Did
then
he?
called me. Yeah, indirectly. So I got the message indirectly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm speaking softly because I don't want Ben to hear this, you see, which is kind of silly because he's the... And I remembered when I worked with Ben at WEI back in the 70s, he had a birthday. He had turned 30 then.
He did 30. Well, he's a little bit beyond that now.
I realized that, but at the age of 30, he was ready to jump off the Prudential building.
Yes.
Because we worked at WEI together.
Yes, that's true.
At the
He's
morning.
very sensitive about that.
Is he sensitive about turning 50?
Yes, I've got him tethered now. He's suicidal. I've got him tethered.
No kidding.
Tethered to his rocker. Mm-hmm.
Well, he is an old guy.
He's old.
Could I talk to him? Would he be handy, do you think?
He's taking guests now. He'd love to speak with you. Hold on,
Okay,
please.
thank you, Judy. This is Ben Farnsworth. Hello?
Hello.
Is this Ben Farnsworth?
Hey, Norm.
Hey, what do you say?
How are you? I have to take my bib off before I talk to you.
I have to tell people because I haven't mentioned it. We just kind of dialed you to see, whether we hang up and may say, "What are you interfere? You put me on the air like that?" But we are on the air on WBZ right now. But I was just talking with your wife Judy about when you were 30 when we worked together at WEI.
That was 20 years ago.
I know. I can't believe that you punk kid.
I know.
You're
I was
50.
a punk kid. Remember how youthful I had pimples for crying out loud.
You had long hair.
Yes.
And we did the morning. We co-hosted the morning news on WEI together. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. This is what is known as background material for the listener. You see, it's terribly important in this broadcasting biz. But I remember we were doing the mornings. We would go on about 5 o'clock in the morning. And you would do Henry Kissinger imitations and all kinds of not on the air.
I believe that the world must move forward. We must do our best to see that the problems are solved in the world today.
You haven't forgot. You haven't lost a touch.
No,
and that would drive me.
There,
Then we'd go on the air. That would be while Henry Kissinger. Actually, we did have an actuality of Henry Kissinger, and you would imitate him in the studio. Then the microphone would go on with your imitation ringing in my ears, and then I had to say, "That was Henry," and I would giggle a lot. And Mike Ludlam, who's the news director at the time, and
he would call us in every morning.
Yeah, he'd say, "You guys sound like a couple of asses."
Will you please stop laughing on the air? This is a news operation.
Yeah,
please stop laughing.
Yeah, he would be even stronger than that. He'd say, "You sound like a couple of asses. Stop that." And the thing is, come closer. I don't want everybody to hear this because even though my career,
only all of Boston.
Yeah, even though my career is maybe at its end anyway. What have I got to lose? But I remember I was thinking, when most management says something to you nasty, you don't really care. You figure, he's a program director. What does he know? He doesn't know anything. But we respected Mike so much. Whenever he said anything nasty, we would go into a funk.
Oh, remember we. But the best was. Is the sewer commercial still on?
I was telling somebody in the newsroom. No, I don't know. The trip. What was it called?
The electric sewer. You can pump sewage from 5 stories high.
We would sit there. We were the most unlikely news team that you ever heard in your entire life. We were no Dan Rather and Connie Chung, that was for sure. And we'd sit there, and we couldn't. And you do the commercials too. One would read one, and then the other would read the other. And we had the sewer commercial that Ben is just mentioning, and we just could not get through that. And of course, the guy who owned the company, he didn't think
it was like serious business.
Well, he spent his life in the sewers, He didn't think there was anything funny about that. And anyway, we finally had to record the thing ahead of time, and we couldn't even record it together. We had to go in separately and read a line at a time. Oh, you were a fun guy to work with. I feel like we worked forever, but we
Can
only.
you imagine that well, I'm still, quite honestly, I'm still in my 40s because I don't turn 50 officially until tomorrow. So I'm still actually a young man in my 40s.
Oh, that's right. You don't turn 50 until what's tomorrow? September 11th.
September the 11th.
It's your birthday. Yeah. Are you suicidal about turning 50? Is that really a problem with you?
I'm really, I guess the best way to describe it is I'm really kind of cranky.
Cranky?
Yeah. I mean, 30 was a problem for me.
Oh,
30 was a big problem. 40 was no problem. 40 didn't bother me. 50 kind of like bothers me. And yet, I have a great life. I have a delightful wife. I have two wonderful daughters, 25 and 24. And my life probably has never been better. But, people are going to say, he's a 50-year-old guy.
Yeah. If you think you're going to get any sympathy out of me, in about less than 2 years, I'll be a 70-year-old guy. Can you believe that? Yes, you can believe it.
I mean, you're not like me. You're a fine wine. You get better as you get older.
Oh, cut out the crap.
You get cleverer as you get older. You get brighter as you get over. You get more lovable as you. I'm just gonna get crankier.
I'm just gonna get cranky and old.
That's right.
No, you left EI to go to WCBS in New York.
Right.
Then you left there to go to WNBC, TV.
Right.
Which is where you are now?
Yeah.
Okay. Lavelle Diet, who has a program that precedes this, gets to the New York area often, and I told him I was going to talk to you. He didn't know you worked at EI way back, but he catches you a lot in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing big stuff? What are you doing there?
Well, I'm on every day. I report the news, and I go out and cover anything that goes on, and it's a lot of fun. As you know, I've been down here for 20 years, and it's a different lifestyle. Not as much fun and friendly as Boston was. I miss Boston a lot. I love the restaurants. I love the lifestyle. I loved everything. But as a man of 30, as I was approaching 30, and you were as you well know, or may or may not know, I don't know, but you were instrumental in my coming to New York. You know that.
No, I didn't know.
Well, I'm going to tell. I don't want the other people to hear this, but when I was 29 years old, and I knew that the news director from New York was coming up to listen to me. He checked into a hotel to listen to me in the morning. I was on with this fellow, Norm Nathan, and Norm Nathan knew that this news director was listening to me. And he said, "Don't worry about this. I'm going to let you do everything. You're going to handle this, and you're going to do everything, and I'll back you up, and you'll sound great, and whatever." And it's probably the reason I went to New York, because you made me look great.
No, I didn't make you look great. You always were great. You were always a stickler.
No, you were delightful to me and very helpful.
Well, I enjoyed working with you. You're a great guy. But there's a great deal of fun working with you. But you were much more of a stickler for facts than I was, because I remember sometimes sitting down and saying, or ad-libbing. We'd ad-lib because we did a lot of interviews, and I'd lib a line, and then the commercial would come out, so we could talk to each other off the air, and you would correct me on things like that. Seems like that, but actually, here's what really happened there, and you were right. Now you were really right, because you have a sense about news. And I just happen to be an old romantic. I figure if you kind of paint kind of a general picture of the news, that's close enough. But you were much more exact about it, and I learned a lot from you.
Come on, I was a paid.
Oh, will you stop that? Don't give me this modest crap. I hate that. You have children who are 24 and did you say?
24 and 25.
So that they're almost the same age you were back then.
They are. They're that's right. When I was working with you, they're 4 years younger than I was working with you.
But I remember bringing in donuts. There'd be some of the behind the scenes thing, which I know people will be terribly bored with, but I'm going to tell it anyway. We would stop off, each of us, kind of alternate days or something for donuts, and we bring them in, and here you are, this big news guy. Because EI had just gone all news, and April 1st, 1974.
Right.
Okay, and you're one of the big news guys. You know, we'd report the news, the big dramatic tones. And you would have your donuts and the powdered donuts, and you'd go on the air with the little ring of powder, like a little kid who drank milk and got some in his nose and around his lips.
And what great people we worked with. Paul Benziquin was on at that time. Remember?
That's right. He had a feature called Benziquin's Notebook. I think some of Paul's, yeah. And Chuck Krause, I guess, is still around.
Yeah, he was there.
Howard Nelson, who
Howard
since has
Nelson,
died, which is unfortunate, was a real sweetheart of a guy.
And I think it was before your time. Art Smith was the news director before.
Yeah, I knew him, but he was gone by the time I got there.
That's right.
And
we just it was really an awful lot of fun. Connie Parra was our engineer. Remember Connie?
I remember Connie very well. Connie's down in Florida now. The whole station.
Is he really?
Do you know that WEI is now at 850 on the dial?
Really?
You haven't. You don't get
I'm
news
from the dark ages, you know.
No, you don't get the stuff in New York. WEI is now WBNW, I think, something like that. It's a business news station.
Yeah, that I heard. Yeah.
As of this last
That's
week,
right. Yeah.
they changed their call letters, and the WEI call letters are now what WHDH was at 850, and there is no WHDH anymore. I really feel badly because...
Yeah, but they still have great fish at the no name, right? Right?
That's right. That has remained the same.
Right. And Jimmy's Harborside is still doing great. And all the great places we used to go, the Oyster House, I remember used to have raw oysters there down on in the Federal Square area. And Durgan Park and all the great...
Yeah, all those things still exist, and the only thing they're crying out for is Ben Farnsworth ever going to come back? Is the kid ever going to come back? Now that he's 50, almost, not quite 50, I know that. You had another day to go.
Well, I'll have someone drive me up.
Oh, we're in that. Are we in that category or just feeble? Are you saying feeble or rich? Now, what kind of stuff do you cover? I'm sorry, I don't get to see you.
Well, I've covered just about anything you can say. I covered the Exxon kidnapping, and I was at the Pan Am 103 crash. I mean, this is all kind of like morbid stuff, but I mean, we did the blackout. Of course, that's ancient history, but whatever's in the news on a daily basis, we're out in the morning. I see Shelby Scott all the time.
Oh, when she comes to New York, you mean?
Sure. Yeah, I see Shelby all the time, and we talk quite often, as a matter of fact, about various news things, and it's...
Well, in fact, the last time I saw you, were in town for the AFTRA convention, and of course, Shelby's the president
of AFTRA, so
That's
I
right.
see her.
And AFTRA, for people who are wondering what we're talking about, is the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which is our labor union.
Right.
And she has been the president.
She's the boss.
Forever. She's the big boss.
She's the boss. We salute.
We have a comedy night coming up at the Comedy Connection, and a lot of us are going to do stand-up. This is this coming Monday night.
Are you going to perform?
I'm going to perform, yes, and so is Shelby.
Oh, you're terrific. I mean it. No, you're the. When we were on the air doing the news, it was the hardest part for me was just to keep a straight face because of everything that you'd say when the commercials were on.
And then things you would say, I would laugh. I think news, don't you think, needs two laughing anchor people?
Well, I think that was what was memorable about what we did, actually. Well, actually, what you did. I was like the straight man.
You were
I was
not.
Like a poor copy of Ed McMahon.
When you stop downplaying yourself, that's not at all true. There's not a bit of truth to what you're saying. You turned into a terrible liar. You really have, and I really hate that, Ben. Hey, I'm going to let you go. Do you have a big party going on at your house right this
Yeah,
minute?
we have some friends over, so.
I wish you the very best for the coming, not only the coming year, the coming decade.
Oh, what a nice call.
I'm so glad to talk with you because we just had a great time together. I had kind of a feeling that we're talking personally, and anybody listening and doesn't give a damn about what we're saying.
That's right. I know. But to the three people who remember me when I was in Boston, it's awfully nice of you to call.
Well, we get out to New York too. The BZ has a big signal, so as a result, I think there may be people I'm sure there are in your viewing area who know you very, very well, and would like to know the fact that you're a very nice man and you have a nice family, and The only problem is the heavy drugs that you're into. I really feel badly. I was kind of hoping you would get gotten off of that.
You're one of the sweetest men in the business.
Hey, take care of yourself. Very happy birthday. Happy 50th. I can't believe my little
God,
punk.
50 years. Can you imagine?
Listening to Norm and Ben reminisce about their time together was like they were back in the studio again at WEEI. Though Norm thought it was too behind the scenes, it wasn't. It simply left smiles on the faces of anyone who was listening, then and now. Such a pleasant surprise with that call. And I completely agree. News needs more comedy.
Yay!
Closing the vault and leaving this world a little sillier than we found it. For Zacharias, The Promenade Room, The Comedy Connection, Carl DeSuze, Alan Derry, Norm Prescott, Leo Egan, John Bassett and his Music for Lovers and the Young at Heart. Jess Kane, The North Shore Music Theater. Ovaltine, Lavelle Diet. Sophia Loren, Tom Ewell, WESX. Don Kent, Jack Chase, Norma Nathan. Lifehouse Incorporated, Bruce Schwegler, Shelby Scott, Sarah Edwards, Michelle Michaels, Marjorie Clapprood, Frank Malicote, Laura Raposa, and Gail Fee. Joe Stapleton, Tim Flaherty, Charles Cohen, Fred Allen, Major Bowes, Beatrice Shop, your RCA Bluebird Recording Orchestra. Riots, melees, ruckuses, and much adoos.